Hi, thank you for joining. This is from Reacting to Regulating Practical Strategies for Emotional Balance at Home. My name is Jenna Elliott. I'm a board certified behavior analyst, licensed behavior analyst in Texas, and owner of Lumina Learning and Behavior LLC. And I'm also a mom. So, as a mom and a BCBA, I want to share with you some strategies that can be useful for you at home to help your teen or preteen with emotional balance and regulating their emotions. So today we'll look at defining active coping strategies, what it is not. We'll review examples of active coping strategies, and then immediately you should be able to take these active coping strategies home and use them with your child. Before we get started, I do have a few reminders before we begin. I want to remind you all that there's not a one size fits all, end all, be all, fix it that is going to immediately work. All of these strategies need to be individualized and they need to be personalized towards your problem, your child, your environment, your situation, whatever you're trying to adjust and modify, it needs to be individualized. So some of these may work, some of them may not, but that is why you need to exhibit patience and practice implementing these with your kids so that they are familiar with it, and and show perseverance. Keep going. You're probably going to have some times where there's some hiccups and frustrations, but keep going, keep pushing through, and if it works, then it's great. If it doesn't, then you can move on to something else. Not everything is perfect for everybody. I do want to also mention that if there is a possible speech or sensory or medical issue that might be underlying and causing challenging behaviors, then please seek out consultation or evaluation from a physician or a specialist like a speech therapist or occupational therapist. And then always, it's best practice to have a specialized provider assist you. So as a behavior analyst, I'm here to assist you as a parent, a caregiver, and your child with modifying behaviors. I'm here to listen and guide you, support you, and collaborate with you on different ways to modify behaviors, whether that's skill acquisition or behavior modification. But I'm always here for you to bounce off ideas and to help you implement those so that you and your child reach your goals. First, before we get into specifics, we will talk about what is the general term coping. So it's defined as the conscious volitional efforts to regulate emotion, cognition, behavior, physiology, and the environment in response to stressful events or circumstances. Okay, so what does that mean in regular language? It means that when we're trying to deal with a specific issue, we're trying to adapt to that difficult situation the best way that we know how. It's an intentional and deliberate method of regulating our emotions and how we behave and how we react to stress and anxiety. And unfortunately, those are all part of life, right? So if we've met the difficult moment and we were intentional in our efforts to be proactive and to respond and push through to fix the situation, then that leads to positive outcomes and resiliency, which is a really important skill that's extremely hard to teach, and especially to those that are younger and even to those that are older. Um, so today we want to focus on specifically how to implement active coping skills at home with your preteen or teenager. And so now we'll look at what it is and what it is not. So now that we have defined what coping means, we have active and avoidant coping, right? So active coping is when we are being proactive and acting to responses and stressors in a more proactive and fix it attitude. So we're confronting the problem head on. We're identifying triggers, we're planning, we're problem solving. We're trying to figure out how to fix it so that it doesn't happen again in the future. We got to get through it. Now, what it's not is avoidant coping. So avoidant coping, on the other hand, is behaviors that help us ignore or escape responding to the stressful event or having to, be in our feelings. This is helpful in the moment, but is not a good permanent solution or effective with dealing with stressors so that they are prevented in the future. Some examples are procrastination, withdrawing socially, overeating, substance abuse, ignoring emotions, overworking. Specifically for preteens and teenagers, that can also look like emotional outbursts, tantrums, physical aggression, self-injury, elopement, things of that nature. And that is because stressors and problems and frustrations are popping up in their life, and they are not currently equipped with regulation skills to deal with that. Common adolescent stressors that lead to frustration and stress are familial issues at home, which can be strained parent relationships, that can be financial issues, bullying and peer victimization in social environments, depression and anxiety, other mental health or physical health ailments, and difficulty with learning and problem solving. So these can all happen in any child, but it is especially more common in the autistic population. So that's why we want to make sure, specifically we're catering to each individual, treating, their symptoms or their dysregulations and their frustrations. We're taking those on and looking at those to personalize a strategy that is perfect for them, since not everyone is going to be the same. This can also benefit you as a caregiver and parent. It can decrease your stress. It can decrease your own avoidant behaviors by learning new ways that are productive and proactive. It can also increase parental involvement and communication with your child. The ripple effects of stress can be felt by everyone in the family. And so we want to make sure that as a caregiver or parent, you are modeling how to implement active coping strategies and showing that they work, and then reinforcing that with your child. So the active coping strategies that we'll look at today are cognitive decision-making, control, direct problem solving, optimism, positive cognitive reconstructuring, problem-focused coping, seeking understanding, and seeking support from parents. Cognitive decision-making is a strategy that emphasizes choice awareness by presenting visual options. So this can be achieved through tools like visual choice boards or choice mapping, like we have shown here. And they illustrate the potential outcome of various decision choices, such as pointing or simply stating, what they want on the playtime visual choice board. This can be also an AAC device. It can be PECs. It can be just visual pictures you've printed out, flashcards. It can be anything. Just something visual to show all of the choices that they have. You can take pictures of things around your home and print them out. You can take pictures on your phone. Many ways to do this. As well as choice mapping. This is where you give an example or a scenario, and then you give two options. So option A is up top. If you respond in this way, it equals this. The one on the bottom, option B, if you respond this way, then that equals this. So it gives an overview for that child of, okay, in this specific situation, I can respond in one of two ways, and each way that they respond, they know what they're getting. They know what happens, and they can expect it. So this helps them make the more appropriate choice because they are usually wanting to get something out of it, as opposed to not getting something that they want. The next one is control. So when we feel overwhelmed or stressed, we might spiral into focusing on only the bad. So exerting control as a coping mechanism means focusing on yourself and what you can change, such as how you respond to frustrating situations or what you can do to adjust yourself or the environment to shift the direction of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. A coping skill that we can help our kids learn is communicating their needs. Communication, whether vocal or visual or ASL or writing things down, they're powerful tools for helping your child feel empowered in a chaotic or uncomfortable environment. Prompting your child to communicate what they need to feel better is essential to preventing escalation, and to feel better is essential to preventing escalation and meeting their needs. They learn what identifying and seeking out what they need as a form of control, and how that is helpful and how that can help regulate and help them cope with the distressing event. So in my experience, some things that I have liked to help teach some kiddos for control is requesting items or activities that will help them calm down. That might be, it's too loud, so I want my headphones, or it's too loud, I want to leave. So just as they can request to get something, they can request to remove something. That's a very important skill, is to be able to identify what you don't want and appropriately ask for that, or ask for it to be removed. Sensory activities also are important things that we can help them request, such as fidgets, chewies, headphones, weighted blanket, sensory bins, physical play, isolation, music, mindfulness, drinks of water, taking a nap. I know for me, taking a nap in a cold environment is helpful for my nervous system. That's how I like to calm down, and then I'm clear-headed and I can go and take care of the issue. So it's just whatever is appropriate, and whatever your kiddo needs, that's what you can use. If you need help with communication or sensory regulation, this is where you would seek out the support from a speech therapist or an occupational therapist. Next, we have direct problem solving. And this is a skill that helps adolescents to form their own problem solving skills and apply them to a specific problem. As a parent or caregiver, you can help teach this in several different ways. Two ways that you can do this is by using a task analysis, which is like a list. You break down each component of the task from being a complex task to just several small, easy tasks that are easy to do. This can be checklists, to-do lists, visual icons, visual schedules, things like that, to where they can see what they need to do and when they can complete it. Another one is modeling, and this is for you as the parent and caregiver to give them the skills from A to Z. So you're giving the instruction, you're showing them how to complete the task, you practice it with them, and then you give them feedback. So that can be praise, or that can be helpful tips, or, let's try it again, let me do it with you, or, that was fantastic, I love how you did that. These are really important things that we should be implementing with our kids for any skill, really. But you modeling what to do and walking through it with them is extremely helpful and gives them a sense of support as they learn how to problem solve. Next, we have optimism. So piggybacking off of modeling and how to problem solve is learning how to be optimistic and positive in a negative situation. So let's face it, our kids learn from us every single day. They're always listening, they're always watching. We want to make sure we're setting a good example for how to respond to stressors in difficult times. And this is where you have the ability to do so. You really have to be conscious of your actions and your words so that you are practicing what you preach. You are not perfect, just as your kiddo is not perfect, but modeling a good attitude and optimism can build their confidence when facing a hard time. Modeling optimism can be as simple as regularly providing praise or a positive statement. Speaking positively and being optimistic in the face of a difficult issue is an excellent coping strategy you can constantly teach, either directly or indirectly. So, what that means is um, you can directly show them, like teaching them, you're modeling for them. Hey, you can say, this is hard, but I can do it. Or indirectly, where you're kind of talking to yourself and you're like, oh, oh gosh, this is a really difficult situation, but I know that I can take care of it and I can do it. Um, they're listening to what you say, watching what you do. So make sure that you're giving praise for wins to build their confidence. You're showing them how to be positive. You're giving them the positive words to use so that they're seeing optimism and seeing how it can help you and build confidence in the long run. A good one, excuse me, a good one to use, a good praise statement is, I'm proud of you for staying calm when you were frustrated. It's a really powerful statement. Um, Kiddos that I've used it for, it's always nice to hear that someone's proud of you, but you need to be specific to what you're proud of. So instead of just saying good job, amazing, what did they do that was amazing? Be specific, be optimistic in a sense of you did great because you did this so well. Or maybe next time, but I liked how you remained calm and didn't let it get to you. Things like that. Be creative. Next is positive cognitive restructuring. And this is often used in cognitive behavioral therapy to challenge negative thoughts and replace them with more beneficial, helpful ones. So, similar to the optimism of being positive, um, this is more deeper into the approach of like how you can be more optimistic. So, following the 3 C's approach, you can just restructure and flip those thoughts on their head from negative to positive. And that can be done through catching the negative thought. So, you notice thoughts when feeling distressed or frustrated, identifying and thinking about how that makes you feel, what triggers lead to those negative thoughts and situations, and then check the thought. Is what I'm thinking really like the reality? Am I assuming the worst? Are my feelings based on fact or opinion? Sometimes we spiral, we get overwhelmed, and our thoughts just spin out of control. So we want to make sure that we are actively trying to check those thoughts. And then once you have identified and checked them, you can change it. So changing your negative thought into a positive perspective, which is hard, but it is doable. You can change things from I can't do this to I can learn from this. That didn't go as planned, but I can make changes the next time. I'm scared to do this, but I practice and I can do it. Now, this does not happen overnight. It definitely takes time and effort. That's why they call it restructuring, because you have to restructure and redo the way that you think, right? So this is challenging, and it's challenging your thought patterns, and which can be quite difficult, but it's the first step in becoming aware of the negativity and making a conscious effort to shift it to a more positive perspective. So again, the more that you are modeling how to be positive, restructuring your thoughts from negativity to positivity and optimism, that is going to be a really great strategy that you can implement and work on with your child at home. Next, we have problem-focused coping, which involves identifying the root cause of stress and anxiety, then creating responses that eliminate or reduce it. Having a tried and true go-to response can help your child feel less overwhelmed or stuck in difficult situations. There are many ways that you can practice problem-focused coping, and some examples are creating a to-do list or a checklist, taking taking a pause and breathing, starting with an easiest problem, prioritizing tasks, asking for help, negative self-talk, challenge those thoughts, make them positive. Don't assume the worst, and know when to take a break. Take a beat. Don't, be so quick to respond. You want to be able to take it in so that you can focus on what you need to do to fix the problem, attend to it instead of sweep it under the rug or ignore it. Some examples that I've used personally with some teen clients is um, teaching them to identify their feelings. Are you anxious? Like, are you pacing across the room? Is your heart beating? Are you hot? Are you sweaty? Things like that. We're identifying how we feel and using that as a prompt to engage in some sort of activity that alleviates that. So whether it's going to your room and listening to music or taking a walk outside, something like that, those can be really helpful um, to your kiddo. Something else that you can do for yourself is thinking about stressful moments that you have had recently and think about what did you do to get past those? How did you react to it? How did you solve the last problem that you had? You want to make sure that you are, coming up with a plan of attack. You are not reacting and you are focusing and using those coping skills to um, make changes and respond in an appropriate way, in a beneficial way to alleviate the problem or the difficult situation that has come up. Next is seeking understanding, which is another helpful tool for coping. And this is understanding your feelings and behaviors during stressful times. So earlier I mentioned teaching some teenagers how to identify, anxious or anger feelings by body signals. And that can be one way to do that. A popular strategy that I have here is called the zones of regulation method, which assigns colors to feelings and uses visual examples of facial expressions. This gives a picture, a name, and a color for feelings, and because those are tough, especially for kids with autism or other kids who have social and emotional difficulties. So it's a good way for them to easily, be able to associate feelings with a color and what those mean. And then eventually they could, say, oh, I'm feeling red. And then what can we do when we feel red? That type of thing. Another strategy for learning emotions is video modeling. So whether it's cartoons, seeing how emotions can be labeled and applied to their lives can help them practice their own emotions and identifying skills. So showing your teen videos of peers explaining experiences with autism or with sensory issues or emotional issues, mental health issues, to help them understand their own behavior can be beneficial as well. When we understand the emotion, what we're feeling in our body, then we're more likely to be able to cope with it and find a resolution. Next is seeking support from caregivers and parents. This is our final strategy and our quick little brief overview. And I would say that this is one of the most important, in my opinion. This is your chance as a caregiver and a parent to be involved with your preteen and teenager in regulating their emotions, so that they are coming to you for help and not avoiding you or scared of you or trying to hide their emotions and it coming out in other inappropriate ways. We want them to feel comfortable with you to come and seek support. Show them that you can remain calm and be a consistent, strong supporter. Let them know that you're available to help them and explain when they need it. You can do this by praising your child for seeking help or for letting you know that they don't understand something or that they're frustrated. The more you reward this type of behavior with praise and attention, the more that you're meeting it with guidance and support and help, the more likely that it will continue and it will build their confidence with that skill, and the repetitive nature of using that and getting that great reaction will carry through and hopefully maintain into their adulthood. So, like myself, working from home or taking work home, you're busy, or, you have other kids and I got to wash the dishes and I'm doing laundry and I'm feeding the baby. You're going to be busy. So make sure that you are letting them know when you're available. You're setting aside specific time to give them your full attention, to let them know if they have questions that they can ask you so that they don't feel kind of brushed off, put off to the side, right? And we should be doing that anyway. We want to be able to give attention to all of our kids, especially if they're going through a tough time. So make sure that you're letting them know that you're available. And if you're busy in that moment, tell them, okay, in 10 minutes, I'll be available to help you. So what can you do in between then? Coming up with different approaches before the situation is needed. So coming up with that plan of how to practice engaging in this coping skill, and so that they can use it when they're on their own. So requesting assistance by prompting. So praise them for asking for support instead of becoming frustrated, so that's likely to happen again. So an example is, I appreciate how you asked me for help. Hey, that was really cool that you came and asked for help instead of throwing your blocks. That's one that I say all the time. um, it really can go a long way. But again, like I said earlier, you need to be specific. What are you praising them for? What are you reinforcing them for? Be specific. If you just always are saying, good job, okay, cool, that was great, for what? That can kind of go one ear out the other. You get kind of desensitized to that, right? It's like at work, you want your boss to let you know you did a good job on this presentation. You did a good job on, making this specific thing. It feels good. You feel seen, you feel respected, appreciated, and it helps you remember that for the next time. So the next time that they're frustrated, they're more likely to ask for help because you told them that it was a good thing and you were happy about it. And modeling emotional expression. Parents should think out loud. They should talk about their feelings, their own feelings, and be an emotional model for how we can actively cope and respond to distressing events. This again goes back to imitation and modeling for your child and how to respond in difficult times, because again, I want to reiterate, they are watching and listening to how you respond all the time. um, it specifically provides a vocal model if you're thinking out loud. So I'm feeling frustrated. I'm going to go take 3 deep breaths and then I'm going to ask for help. Or I'm going to go get my headphones on because it's too loud, and then I'm going to write down what I need to do. So that you're indirectly teaching them. You're not coming off as telling them what to do, but they're just always seeing and hearing the appropriate way to cope and respond, instead of hearing screaming, you're throwing things, you're cussing somebody out, you're shooting the bird at somebody during traffic. They're watching that, they pick it up. So the more that they see those types of things, the more that they're going to do it, because that would be normal to them. So make your normal emotion regulating, make it look like that. I mean, that's all I can say. You want to engage in the behaviors you want them to see. So the more you show them how to cope, the more likely they're going to imitate and respond in the same way. Okay, so our recap, we briefly reviewed active coping, and that is proactive measures to respond to stressors instead of ignoring them or avoiding them. Active coping skills can benefit everyone, not just a child, not just you. It can benefit the whole family, the immediate people, teachers, peers, friends, anybody can benefit. Anxiety, stress, and depression are decreased in children and in the parents when using active coping skills. That is a researched fact. As is that parent involvement is essential. Specifically, maternal involvement was associated with higher levels of active coping skills. So no pressure, moms. And dads, if you're watching, kudos to you. You need to get in on this too. Work together if you are co-parenting, parenting together. If you're a single parent, that is okay. You can do these things too. You can even have other caregivers help. Work on this with siblings, work on this with grandparents, teach them how to do these things as well. It's beneficial for all. And being involved with how they cope is just priceless. So the kids will imitate the parents' coping mechanisms, so make sure it's a good one. All right, here are my references. There's plenty. They're all there. Thank you. I really appreciate you stopping by and taking time out of your busy, chaotic schedule. That's why I wanted to just do a quick little overview. If you want to learn more and get some resources, I will have some up on my website, www.luminalearningbehaviorllc.com. I also post things on my Facebook and my Instagram, and I have my email there too. So if you'd like to reach out to me for personalized services, I would love to have a free consultation with you to discuss if we are a good fit for services. I have all my information on my website so that you know what I do, you know what the price is so that you're not surprised, but you do get personalized and individualized and direct services from me. And also, I have some free resources and then also some resources for purchase. So I will continue to be doing some videos, making resources, getting those out. So please follow and like and shoot me an email if you need anything. And hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.